The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Fellow citizens, following the sequence of events, Uganda seems to be at political crossroads.
I'm not a servant of anybody.
Madam, I know the law.
As such, Alternative Digital brings you the Interface Show with retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besuje.
Let's keep on the same page on Alternative Digitalk,
As he gives you the alternatives on the transition question, rule of law, human rights and freedom, youth inclusion in governance, economic stagnation, as he confirms.
I'll be always here Saturday from 10 a.m. in the morning. Be there.
Don't miss the live discussion on the Alternative Uganda, Digitalk TV Facebook pages, and the Alternative Uganda YouTube channel.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704111720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings.
The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
News coming in from California. After only 48 hours of 11 people being shot, actually 6 more have lost their lives in the wake of today morning as the lunar celebrations continue in California. That is among the Asian American communities in that part of the country. I'm going to be telling you what is happening in the United States. And still more, I think 500 million has been requested by the Ukrainian government to actually help in aiding the war that is going on in that part of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. It is the 24th day of January 2023. It's a very, very beautiful morning right here at Digitalk TV. My name is Edgar Matthew Karohanga, and I would love to welcome each and every one of you from wherever you're watching us from. We are live. Please start sharing this particular video for each and everybody to actually know what is going on in Uganda and the rest of the world. This is the Mighty Global News Updates, and of course we are at the Mighty Drive Show. Happens every Monday to Friday, that is from 7 to 9, from 8 to 9 to 10 a.m. We're always here having a conversation with Uganda because we believe it is one of the contributions that we have for the Pearl of Africa before we actually go down the drain. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for always tuning in each and every day. Today we're going to be having an insightful discussion. We are expecting 2 candid gentlemen, and we're going to be having a conversation on the state of the current affairs in Uganda today. Among our panelists today, we have Mr. Emmanuel Oyite. He is the national coordinator for the MK Army, whatever that means, in Lango region. He'll be telling us and expounding more on their aspiration as the MK Army and maybe what exactly they want with the Ugandans. We'll also be joined by the national coordinator and political activist in Uganda, that is Mr. Tumuhimbise, and he'll be telling us more on what is happening in the country. And if for those who do not know, what may be happening right here in Uganda. There is a minister for housing, that is Miss Persis Namuganza. She has been censured by Parliament yesterday in a very interesting, controversial mode. But she is now officially censured by Parliament. Let's wait and see if the president is going to actually assent to that decision. And nonetheless, we'll be giving you more and we'll be keeping tabs on what is happening in the August House. Still in Uganda today, we are still comprised of, the MK Ame, NSSF funds, and of course the life of the legislator is not yet well. That is the legislator for where I am seated at right now, Makindye West constituency, Mr. Alan Sewanyana. He is admitted at Mulago Hospital. Unfortunately, the leader of the National Unity Platform, that is Mr. Chagulanyi Ssentamu alias Bobby Wine, will actually not, or did not actually get the opportunity to meet this legislator yesterday. We don't know if he will be accepted to go out and meet him, but that is the state of the member of parliament, that is Mr. Alan Sewanyana. But before we go into that particular discussion today, at exactly 11 a.m. we shall be having Kato Tumuhimbise, and that will be Tekachi, a show that airs every Tuesday at 11 a.m. We'll talk about the law and everything you need to know about the law of Uganda. He'll be having an interesting conversation right there. If you would love to advertise with this particular platform, please do. That is, we can make videos for you, we can make your ads for you, we can run them for you, we can do events organizing for you, we can do a live streaming event for you, we can do videography for your event, exactly anything that you need in terms of production, in terms of service delivery in multimedia formats. We can do that for you right here at Digitalk TV. So in case you love our services, feel free to talk to the programs director of this particular institution, Mr. Mukose Arnold Anthony. He'll be giving you more details. You can look him up. That is on Facebook at Mukose Arnold Anthony, I think. And then if you want to call him direct, you can just you can just call him on 07 018000212. Not himself, not him. Munana noti bidi emu bidi. Now let's start off with stories that are making rounds all over the globe before we enter what is happening right here in Uganda. Let's start off in United States. Mass shootings continue to happen, especially in California, that state of California. Today morning, in fact not today morning, the work today it was morning here, it was night there, but let's say yesterday, unfortunately, six people were shot dead by an Asian American that is in I think Monga Bay, a plot called Monga Bay that is in the southern part of California. Unfortunately, 6 people have succumbed to injuries there. In fact, this fight broke out at a farm. This comes only after 48 hours. It only comes 48 hours after 11 people had been shot dead. That is in Monterey Park, still in California. Gun violence is on the rise in that part of the world. United States is one of those liberal countries that believe in I think a lot of freedom. Procuring or getting a gun in the United States of America is something that is not very problematic. Remember, last time there was a law that has been set, the law that was set by Joe Biden's government. It is the first law actually that has been set in 30 years that is barring access to guns easily. But unfortunately, the people in the United States are still buying these guns at a cheaper price. This gentleman who is already in custody now, in fact, he is the gentleman that took himself into custody, and as he was speaking, they found him with one gun, and then over 42 rounds of bullets. That is in United States of America. So that means in a space of just 3 or 4 days, over 16 people have died due to gun violence. That is only in California. United States has over 320 million people, and access to guns in that country is something that is very, very easy, because you remember America was formed by a group of people who decided to come together, but none of them really would say that they trusted each other to know that let's give the guns to the government and the government can actually regulate them. But unfortunately, every person or every militia group or every human being in the United States believes that they have utmost protection for their lives. So everyone may be in need of a gun, and unfortunately, because of these guns, we have seen various people passing on. That is the Asian American boy who is responsible for those particular deaths that were recorded yesterday in the United States of America. Now let's delve into other stories. Going off to Ukraine. Ukraine has requested for 500 million in terms of ammunition to help them fight this war that is going on in that part of the world. Remember, Russia invaded Ukraine last year under the guise of they want their lost colonies back, and of course Vladimir Putin was on the helm of that particular attack. But unfortunately, Ukraine has stood the test of times. It's 1 year since that particular war broke out, but people are actually still fighting on. The people of Ukraine, those are the Ukrainians. So through the Ukrainian Minister for Defense, they requested for over 500 million, and I think the European Union has accepted to actually give these people ammunition that is worth that. They have already done more or a lot in the war in Ukraine, but of course it's unrelentless, or it's not ceasing in that particular regard. But as we're speaking, over 500 million worth of ammunition, and especially the fighting tanks are the ones that are needed by the Ukrainian government. They say that with these particular protection mechanisms or weapons, they will be able to fight the Russians. Remember, up to today, some of the parts of Ukraine had been taken, but of course, parts like Donetsk that had been taken by Russia. Sorry, when you look at parts like I think Dnipro, unfortunately, the Ukrainian government is trying to expel the Russian forces from Dnipro, but they have actually done a tremendous job, Ukraine, in terms of surviving. But up to now, many people have been displaced from their homes, and they are still having challenges with electricity, challenges with the internet, challenges with water, challenges with good shelter, and of course challenges with warmth, unfortunately, in that part of the world. That is what is happening in Ukraine. Various people have died in that war, including Africans. I told you yesterday of a story of two young men who were forced to take part in that particular war. Senseless war, if you have to say, but because of some trumped up charges on them of drug, I think, soliciting and things like that, they were remanded, and later on the one militia group that is fighting that particular war in Ukraine came out to give them an opportunity to fight for their freedom. But unfortunately, many fought for their freedom, but not for their lives, because up to now they are dead already. So that is what is happening in Ukraine. Off to other stories. Let's go to Afghanistan, where the Taliban government is now, I think, entering the second year of their rule. The Taliban government came back after the United States forces fled that particular, that particular country, saying that what they were doing is now enough. As we are speaking right now, the Taliban have brought in new laws that will be helping in governing Afghanistan. And one of those laws is barring women from accessing education. Now, over 20 million girls do not have access to education because the Taliban government does not seem it fit for them to be holding degrees or having education papers. They say that women are fundamentally not, not allowed to have education and not even allowed to move out. Those that are allowed to move out must have the company or must be in the company of a male counterpart. Now, many activists all over the world continue to say that this is wrong. The Taliban should be given their freedom of education, especially the females. And one of the precautions that have been taken is, first of all, putting some sanctions on the Taliban government and trying to fight for the freedom of girls. It's now 2 months since the Taliban declared this, and they say that they will be restructuring the education sector to be able to to be able to help or inculcate the Sharia law into the education system. They want a Muslim-based education system, and they feel that will be the best education for their females or the women of Afghanistan. Many women had tried their level best to even procure or to be able to have degrees and have an education of their own. But after the Taliban takeover of the Afghan government, that may not be something that will be realized very, very soon. But of course, some people in the Taliban government say that the changes will be made and education will be resuming, especially for the females in that part of the country. But gone are the days where women are behind. That's what I think. Women are really, really strong creatures, and they deserve the utmost respect that should be accorded to them by the mere fact of their birthright being women. Now, that is what is happening in Afghanistan. We'll be keeping tabs on what will turn out. Will they accept the women to go back to these schools to be able to have themselves an education, or we'll be delving into that story later on. You are still watching the Mighty Drive show, just 15 minutes past the top of the hour. This is the first hour, and of course we run from 8 to 10 a.m. each and every day. That is Monday to Friday, right here on Digitalk TV. Other stories, let's talk about the coldest degrees have been recorded. That is in the North Pole in China. China North Pole region has recorded the lowest degrees of temperatures that have been recorded in time. That is negative 15 degrees Celsius. That is how much cold. In fact, at 7 a.m. in areas of the North Pole that is in China. I don't know if that is also subject to climate change, or it's just a new pattern that has been recorded in the world. We shall be finding out more on that particular story. And in other news, Spotify, a music site, or a music site company, I would love to say, is going to be laying off over 600 workers. 600 workers will be losing their jobs in this American-based company, unfortunately, Spotify. This is because of the increasing economic tides, not only here in Uganda, but of course globally. So Spotify say they will be reducing on the number of employees they have in their different companies. So that is what is happening in Spotify. This is not the first company that is laying off workers. Last year, we saw various companies laying off workers, starting from CNN. Also we saw, I think, Twitter laying off some workers. Facebook, Meta company said they will be laying off also workers. Right here in Uganda, Next Media also laid off some workers. That shows you the magnitude or the severity of the increasing economic challenges that are happening in Africa and of course all over the globe. So Spotify will be reducing. In fact, also Amazon was also able to reduce some of its employees globally, saying that they can no longer, work at the same rate as they used to work in that particular particular company. That is those are the effects of the increasing economic challenges that we feel each and every other day. Now we have stories that are going on in the country. I would not love to comment most of them because we are going to really expound on them after this break, because Pasis Namuganza, as I told you when I was starting, that she has now already been censured by the Parliament of Uganda. Over 300 members of Parliament voted in favor of her censure, unfortunately. But that is what is happening. They say she has been indisciplined for a while, and of course, her saying that this is not actually because of, her work ethic, but rather a personal vendetta. She says in her words, she tried to talk about someone, or the speaker. In fact, why should I say someone? The speaker, in her words, said she was trying to procure a fraudulent marriage. Those were the statements of the State Minister for Housing, Pasis Namuganza. That the speaker was trying to procure a fraudulent marriage in that particular regard. That is Passes Namuganza, already been censured by Parliament. What next for her? That will be our topic of emphasis today as we bring in Mr. Emmanuel Oyite, the MK coordinator, Lango sub-region, and of course Mr. Tumuhimbise. He is a political activist and of course the national coordinator for the alternative social movement. We'll be talking about that. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. It's time we go in for a short commercial break at just 20 minutes past 8 a.m. We're going to be having a conversation with those two gentlemen, so please do not move a muscle. In case you just want to get yourself a drink, please do get it, because we're going in for this break. After, it's going to be an interesting conversation up to 10 a.m. Please do tune in, keep sharing these videos, and let the whole world know that Digitalk TV is here. And of course, the Mighty Drive is already in the driving seat up to 10 a.m. Let's go in for a short commercial break. We will be right back.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Fellow citizens, following the sequence of events, Uganda seems to be at political crossroads.
I'm not a servant of anybody.
Madam, I know the law.
As such, Alternative Digital brings you the Interface Show with retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besuje.
Let's keep on the same page on Alternative Digitalk,
As he gives you the alternatives on the transition question, rule of law, human rights and freedom, youth inclusion in governance, economic stagnation, as he confirms.
I'll be always here Saturday from 10 a.m. in the morning. Be there.
Don't miss the live discussion on the Alternative Uganda, Digitalk TV Facebook pages, and the Alternative Uganda YouTube channel.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704111720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Yeah, 22 minutes past the top of the hour of 8. My name is Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. I'm the proud company of two gentlemen, and we're going to be having a conversation up to 10 a.m. This is the Mighty Drive Show. Please do share in your comments. That is through our social media platforms, at The Alternative Uganda on Facebook, at Digital TV still on Facebook. Drop in those comments. I'll be reading them subsequently as we continue with this conversation. As I told you before I went for the break, that I'm going to be having two gentlemen. One is the national coordinator of the MK, the coordinator of the MK Ame, whatever that is in the Lango sub-region. He will be telling us more on what the MK Ame is and how relevant it is in the political spectrum of this country. And of course, a renowned political activist and the national coordinator of the alternative social movement, Mr. Tumuhimbise, has joined me right here. And we're going to be talking about the state of the country today. We are in a country that is marred by a lot of controversy, especially in this new year. How ironical that is. Pastor Namuganza has been censured by Parliament, for those who do not know. And of course, we have the MK roadmap. They were in Bale, that was last week, and a lot of protests were going on there. People wearing and donning on yellow t-shirts. And of course, the NSSF continues with its feuds and its invisible hands in that particular regard. The life of Sewanyana is also not well. We've got reports that he is admitted at Mulago Hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mighty Drive Show. Gentlemen, you're welcome. Thank you. I'll start with you, Mr. Oyite. In just a nutshell, who is Oyite for those people who do not know you are seeing you for the first time? And a wonderful t-shirt it is.
Yes, this is a generation t-shirt. My name is Oyite Emmanuel, as you have just said. I am the assistant coordinator, MK Ame, now sub-region. And I think that is basically who I am for now.
What is this MK Ame we hear about?
MK Ame is it's not the soldiers, those ones who are wielding guns, as most people have been projecting. We are just a generation group who believes in the transition. We are saying, after Museveni, we have looked at our history. When you look at from 1971, when Idi Amin took over from Obote, you know that there has been chaos because there was no orderly succession. And when you look at Obote too coming back, everyone, Dr. Besiji will tell you that all these guys have left because of violence, and there's always violence. But now for us, we are saying, can we have that succession talk? Can we have a peaceful transition of power? That's why for us we have started identifying our generation leader. That's why we are coalescing around General Muhoozi. We believe that after Museveni he should take over.
What do you mean he should take over?
What I mean is we should, democratically, we are mobilizing young people. That can we? Because there are other forces. We know that Chagulanyi and his team, there are so many people. There are many political parties coming up. But even for us, we are saying, yes, that contestation, we also want to be part of it. But it's not going to be a violent one. That's why we were in Sebe mobilizing. We are not talking about violence. We are talking about a peaceful transition of power. Okay. That's why we're even telling Museveni that, by the way, in case you are planning to leave, or you are not yet, we have a standby generator waiting. In case you go, we can take charge as young people. And that is basically the MK Army. That is our cause, actually.
That is Mr. Emmanuel Oyite. He is the coordinator of the MK Army that is in Lango. Mr. Norman Tumuhimbise, you are looking smart in that African, I know it's a Ghanaian attire, right?
Thank you. Yeah, it is. You know, it's... When I was told that I would be hosted with an agent of the MK Army, I had to also put on an Amadi shirt. But anyhow, thanks for hosting us and sparing time for us. And in particular, I want to congratulate my colleague for having had the courage to come and defend the undefendable. You know, sometimes you have to congratulate your colleague that, gentlemen, honestly, you have that courage. And the zeal to come and perhaps share what you have. My name is Tumuhimbise, and I happen to be the national coordinator of the alternative social movement. But maybe I am sure as the day follows night that we haven't started our discussion, but also highlight what my colleague was talking about in regards to transition. And maybe you will have to help us, and I will ask him to take note that there is a difference between transition and transformation. So for them, they are so much into transition, not transformation. But we shall discuss that as we move along.
We should. Norman, I want to pick your mind on the state of the country today. I've told you what is happening, and that is just a snippet of what is going on in the entire country. A lot of controversy, a lot of debates, a lot of things. What is your take generally on Uganda 2023?
I think for me, Uganda apparently is like a Subaru which is being driven by a drunkard, and he's not reading the road signposts, and people in that Subaru are like, yeah, Jongezo, you know, and not bothering about their lives. So this Subaru is onto a terrible speed, and the driver thinks that the Subaru, that's the speed should run. The occupants are not bothered. Some are holding meat, some are yawning. Those who are yawning want to grab whoever that is holding a stick of some beef. So there's a lot of confusion in that vehicle, and that is now the country. And literally, when you see all these fights that are moving along, it's basically about the greed. So the analogy of a Subaru with those who are hungry and those with some bit of beef, and then the driver who is also putting on the headset, he can't even hear what the passengers are talking about. So, you know, a lot of confusion. That's what is in this country. So for me, it's just a DMC overspeeding Subaru driven by a drunkard with the headphones. So a confusion, a confused vehicle, for lack of another word.
Okay, I'm going to start off the discussion with the MK debate or the MK conversation. It's interesting. This gentleman you are supporting is the first son. That is one thing, but the irony is he is a serving general in the UPDF, and he is not in any way allowed to do the processions that he seems to be doing. But it feels like he is above the law. Is that what you want to bring to the country?
Actually, the moment you say that he did the procession, I would say that is wrong.
What was in Mbale?
In Mbale, we were there for a celebration of culture and talent. And actually, he didn't. If you have quoted him well, he didn't even talk politics in Mbale. He was only in Mbale to celebrate talent and culture. But of course, as young people, we are saying yes, he's still in the army. And of course, the law is very clear. They don't discuss controversial issues. That's why you have never heard him talk about the censure of the Namuganzas. That is not his. For us, we are saying he can retire, but the moment he retires, we want him. In that post-70, we need him. It's not now. Right now, he's not at the center of our politics, because we have a party in power with a manifesto, which they have to implement up to 2026. Yes, but we are saying should the post-Museveni. That is the debate. That's why the MK army is only looking at the future, not now. So what we are doing in Sebe, there was nothing like a procession. In Sebe, he awarded, he gave the trophy, and just those the talents. Because actually, Kitsiro,
first it was the birthday. They were the birthdays, regional birthdays.
Yes, and there is no problem.
And that is okay. And then now they are just cultural celebrations. You're trying to say?
No, yes, that was the theme in Sebe. Actually, he didn't speak for more than 10 minutes. No, it was not this demagogue talking. It was not this demagogue talking. It was purely that. But of course, everyone there was demanding that, please, we want you in the post-Museveni. We want you to be our generation leader. And I think that is now the crime. Maybe our constituent should look into that. But when you look at the stopover in Mbale he slept in Mbale. He opted to go to church at St. Andrews. And when we were there in Mbale, the youth were overwhelmed. The cathedral was full. Everyone was outside. People wanted him. So he told the guys in church, the church is not for politics. He just he prayed with them. He gave his contribution, because there was also Thanksgiving service whereby so many people, he donated 20 million to help in the church project. But he was not there for the fundraising. That was a request. And then later, when the youth were there and they were full, and he said, yeah, we can pass by and greet them. Okay. That's when we opted for a field which is even in the valley. There was no procession. The youth were just running because we agreed we can't address these people in town. We can't paralyze town. So we had to opt for a field which was outside town. So these youth were running from the church up to the ground where he was supposed to address them. And when he was there, he just waved at them. He just greeted, actually, basically. But there was no political talk there.
The man you're trying to defend has come out openly to say that he is going to be president, and he has not told us any way he's going to be president. He has come out to speak assertively, saying he's going to crush people, he's going to evade Kenya, he's going to be president of this country, whether you want it or you don't. His father has been Muhima, he's been a stronghold. You've heard all these statements, and you find them okay from a sitting general?
Now, let me tell you, when he was talking about invading Kenya, that the MK Army didn't talk about the UPDF. He said the MK Army.
In fact, the UPDF, he calls it his.
No, but he has been.
It's my army.
He has been the commander. But of course, you know that the UPDF cannot be his personal army. Doesn't pay them. But when you say my people, does it mean what do you take? If I go and tell people of Lango that my people, does it mean okay? What meanings do you attach to such? But when he was talking about the MK Army, he's talking about the mobilization. That Kenya can be mobilized and they can easily join the East African community because the MK Army trusts in the mobilization. But the attack, the days of the militarism is over. That one we...
Are you sure?
Yes, we can agree with that.
The young those people being abducted every day.
When you
their
talk
parents
about,
don't even know where they are.
When you talk about abduction,
the government does not know where
some of us know, we know about the arrest. Like I know so many people in this organization who were arrested. And I remember...
An arrest is when a police officer or a security personnel comes and tells you, we are arresting you for this reason. Your family knows we have taken you to this police station. Children are being abducted, and I'm calling them children because basically they are between, 16, 18 young people, and they're being taken. Many of them are not being seen again. And that you call that being arrested?
No, for
and
me...
the government as well that is arresting them tells you that they don't know where that...
Actually, the beauty of it, I'm not in government.
Yes.
I'm not in government.
I'm just
but
your
I was only telling you that the days of militarism, when gun-wielding men would wake up in the morning and you hear these canolas overrun the government, he's now the president, that one is over. At least under the unipolar world, under the American system, since the fall of the Soviet Union, we have not had that. So there's no way general would invade Kenya and bring it under Uganda. That is not possible. But what is possible is we can mobilize and say, young people in Kenya, see we are one, why can't we integrate? And for me, basically, that is what we are dreaming about. Like, that's our dream.
Lastly, as I cross over to Norman, this MK Army, you're talking about it being a grassroots mobilization of people. What do you guys stand for? What's your ideology? What are you bringing to the paper, to the table? Oh,
that is a beautiful conversation. For us, the MK Army, actually, by the way, there are so many things we don't approve of.
Exactly.
In NR, what NRM is doing. Perhaps we are also very mindful of our history. We only that maybe our values is good things should be consolidated, bad things should be abandoned. Corruption is there. That's why MK himself told you that MK is a reactionary force. We have people in NRM who are very corrupt, not just in NRM, people in government. Corruption cut across. I have known districts where opposition are the one in charge, but corruption is the same. Service delivery is down, and there's no difference. So actually, we would say there's democracy. That corruption has been decentralized, is all over, is cutting across. So for us, the MK, we are saying, can we consolidate the gains? If there was some relative peace, can we continue to have even a better one? And can we have an effective government whereby everyone is equal, whether the service delivery is taken seriously? So there are so many things we don't approve of. And that is why also we are coming in the system.
But what do you stand for?
But of course we are Democrats. We are Democrats. We don't believe in hijacking as people want to project us. That's why we are really very intense in mobilization. Right now we are putting structures from the district up to the village. We want to recruit to have 15 from the village up to the district, because we must be mobilized. And that's when our cause, and as a generation, we sit and say, okay, what do we need? Because we have seen this government, when they came, definitely they had their dreams and aspiration. And to them, I was talking to Biraro before he died. He said, for them, what prompted them to go to the bush, there was militarism in Kampala. You would be killed and nothing would happen. That they saw a woman being raped around Makerere, and he told the friends, I think enough is enough. They abandoned their degree. They had the opportunity of being employed in the government, but they had to leave. That was the reason why they went to Luo. So for us now, we have got a generation, because we want opportunities. There is a known factor that there are many youth who are educated and there are no jobs. So can we work around it? Of course, it is going to be together. We can't say there is one man's dream in this. No. This should be a concerted effort, should be a generation cause. We're coming up together and say, this is what we want. And I know as young people, we know what we want.
Okay. That is Mr. Emmanuel Oyite from the MK Army. Mr. Norman Tumuhimbise, have you, as the opposition, really failed to change the trajectory that we are at the verge of another, let me say, movement coming up, and this movement is, I don't know how to call it, but it's like a dilute of the government, because this is the first son, first of all, and he's an army general, and it feels like the trajectory is not changing, Mr. Tumuhimbise. You are transitioning from a military government to what we call a pseudo-military government, and then to another military government, because it's headed by a general in the UPDF. What's your take on that?
I think for me, it takes us back onto what we're, in my preamble, what I was saying.
Yes, sir.
That for some reason, because the country is confused from the top. So even, you know, and with due respect, you know, Oyite happens to be my OB. And I find him, you know, he spent his 4 years in a law school, and he's being confused by someone whose qualifications are even not known, save for having gone to Sandhurst. You know, it's just tricky that you spend your 4 years in a law school, and then you come and you are being confused by someone whose qualification is from Kisubi SS with Kisubi College with an A-level, runs to Sandhurst to do a military, you know, course, and comes back and he confuses.
No, but before that he did political science from Nottingham University.
My dear, confuses the likes of Oyite, the then brilliant people that I knew, the likes of Mwenda, you know. But that is part of the other Subaru I told you, the uncontrolled DMC vehicle with a drunkard, with the headsets, and you know, people, you know, are fighting therein. And Council Oyite comes here and also tells us that his boss, he's yet to be a boss or otherwise, did not even speak for 10 minutes, and he is as right as you can hear, because literally, as far as I know, and as far as I have followed the sequence of events, that gentleman cannot speak for even 3, also means maybe because he lacks substance to communicate. That's why I'm putting a maybe. And even when he does so, he will either read his communication from a phone or some bit of like a paper, and then he runs away. So literally, you know, when you do not have something to communicate, it's very hard for you to sustain a debate and any communication. We have seen the likes of Obama, Kennedy, who you don't need to come with a diary. So as long as you trust in your head, God gave us a moving diary where all such ideas are, you know, packed and you come with them. But that aside, it's a disappointment that, and I'm going to use this analogy. I think I'm going to use 2 analogies. One is of an antelope. So an antelope was running so fast, and it bumped into a herd of elephants. So an elephant asked, "Why are you running on to this terrible speed?" And the antelope was like, "I am being chased by a leopard which is chasing, which wants to arrest goats." And then the elephant was like, "But excuse me, but you're not a goat." And the antelope was like, "My dear, with our system here, it will take me like 20 years to prove that I'm not a goat." So the elephant now was even overspeeding. I mean, it ran so fast than even an antelope. So these guys, with how they are running, it might take time for the waiters to know that they are promoting a dynasty. You know, given the systems here.
Yeah, because that's why
Oyite now thinks that indeed it's a generational thing. But then it's not simple about a generational thing, because I've even had the young people lead countries and messing them up. For some reason, in most cases, it's not about the age of he who or she who contests for power. Obote messed this country. He became president at 33. Sergeant Samuel Doe in Liberia murdered, everyone who was simply 33 also. Joseph Estrada. I mean, many young people have messed their countries, and that doesn't mean that also all people can bring some sense, or all people can also mess the country. But to say, in regards to Council Oyite's submissions and the entire things as they go, it is to also say that this country has a problem of one family. And this is how it works. You have the biggest confuser as at the helm of leadership of this country, whom the likes of Oyite and their army comes to confuse the public that, look, NRM is a reactionary party, so we are a standby generator, so we can, for some reason, come and solve the problems. So the overall confuser being the president bears a son who now is in charge of confusing young people and the army, right? The president happens to have a brother who now confuses the poor. That's Salim Sadeh. Because so the government has made them so poor. Now he appoints the brother to come and confuse them with an illusion that they will be one day become rich. So through wealth creation, he confuses that liege. The same president happens to have a wife who now confuses all of us from kindergarten to university, because she now leads the means of education.
What, you're using the word confused.
Yes, wait, and yeah, definitely.
All of them are confusing.
Very good. So when everyone is very confused, I told you the wife.
It's a question.
Wait a second. A wife, a son confuses the army and young people, the likes of Oyite, educated, very brilliant, and others, in a disguise of a generational army, generational leader. So that's a block of people whom the son confuses. The wife comes and confuses all of us from kindergarten to university because of the poor education system, where they pay 10,000 shillings per kid for a whole term. That's 3,000 rather for a whole year, 3,000 per, I think, or thereabout per month or per term, under UPE, UAC, and the rest. So you have the broke people who now have become broke as a result of poor governance, so who run to Operation Wealth Creation and the rest in a disguise, rather in an illusion that they will do, they will become rich. So that's another clique being confused by the brother. So when everything has now gone berserk and you have lost hope, you definitely have to run to church, and now the daughter waits for you. Because now the daughter also now confuses you, like, no, you see people, good things are in heaven, you don't have to fight for things here because the daughter is a pastor. So you find that every single sector has been managed by this family. You have no escape route. When you want to become, shrewd, the son will wait for you. Because literally, Council Oyite knows that a serving army officer, he's the only person in this country, a fully decorated now 4-star general, that has capacity to mobilize the likes of Oyite. Yeah? And Oyite has been very precise. He told you they want to mobilize from grassroots to national level.
Which is a good move.
Mobilizing for a serving officer. Yeah? A serving officer. Because you will ask Oyite, okay, culture, so in which capacity was Muhoozi, celebrating the culture or whatever that it was? In which capacity? Let any other army officer dare mention anything political, any statement. Look at the tweets. Oyite is good at, on Twitter. Look at the tweets which any other army officer can, in his right senses, type and tweets such communication, and he's not arrested or sanctioned. When Tumukunde said some stuff on CBS, he was put under house arrest for close to 8 years. Mere words. Besije court-martialed. Sejusa, but that gentleman, he's untouchable. And that is where, and that's how we abuse the systems. That the educated people, the likes of Oyite and others, I choose them and I would convict them of intellectual dishonesty. Yeah, that Oyite in his heart, he knows what is right and what is wrong. But the problem we have is that intellectual dishonesty, that the name he bears is a name of a very wonderful hero, Oyite, or joke. one of the Uganda's most celebrated names and military officer. But Oyite gets that whole big title and now offers it to a unknown Muhoozi MK thing. You know, it's a pity. And, you know, for me, it goes back to our colleagues that intellectual dishonesty is one of the cancers that are killing this country. That you know what is wrong.
Why is it that the intellectual dishonesty comes in regard when there is a person in government? Why is it that when it comes to you people in the opposition, there is no intellectual dishonesty?
No, Edgar, even in opposition there is intellectual dishonesty because we have seen people with PhDs reasoning otherwise. I mean, we have seen them.
But you exaggerate NRM, because who says that the first son may not try to his luck? I felt it is in his DNA. For example, Cristiano Ronaldo's son today, he's at just 13, he's already playing elite football in most of the academies of the teams. His father, in fact, right now he's in the Real Madrid academy because he has grown up seeing Cristiano Ronaldo on TV. And of course, let's just speak normally, Muhoozi Kainerugaba will want to be president like his father. Even your son will want to be as influential as you are. This
is the point, Edgar and Oyite. With due honesty, I do not have any issues with Muhoozi coming and joining us in the battle to fight.
It feels you have a problem with the family, the entire family.
This is the point. My point here, however, is taking advantage of your first sonship, for lack of another word, and then you want to manipulate others. If this gentleman left UPDF, came and, you know, retired, registered a political party, even if he remained in NRM, I wouldn't mind. My biggest concern is getting our budget. Because literally, as of today, the UPDF Army 4-star general earns between 2.5 and 3.2 million Ugandan currency. One wonders where he gets the resources to mobilize and print those wonderful T-shirts that Oyite is putting on. You know how much money these guys spend. Get the likes of Baby Cool, who all those artists jump, sleep, feast, eat, and even belge. You know, the people eat and get satisfied and begin belging. Yeah. Now, my concern is, isn't he tapping into this classified budget? Remember, he's the presidential advisor on special operations. You get? That's my biggest concern. But if he joined this side and we begin, you know, he's independent, I can assure you I wouldn't have any issues with him. My biggest concern is a serving general confusing and hoodwinking young people that he's a standby generator. And he goes ahead to tweet whatever he does, as we all have been following, and he's not touched or even prosecuted in any way. And the elites, you know, if Oyite was a SWASA student, I wouldn't mind him. He's a lawyer. If he was a SWASA, then he would say you would forgive him. But he's a lawyer, so he knows that whatever Muhoozi is doing, I'm
going to debunk that. You're attacking the person of Oyite, and you're also disrespecting the person of a SWASA person.
No, he knows. Sorry, with Oyite he knows. No. By the way, with SWASA, it's a good course. It's a good course. It's an all-round course. My concern is that Oyite, being a lawyer, he knows that he's a boss, is doing everything he's doing unconstitutionally, and it is illegal. That his course is a direct should be a direct attack and of his advantage to say that this is wrong. That's why I am giving a comparison of a lawyer vis-a-vis a SWASA student. So if he was a SWASA, I would assume. But if he was a political scientist or a lawyer as he is, then I would like, no. You should apply your basic your basic course.
Are you jealous that gentleman is going to do, Muhoozi is going to do what has failed you guys to do for the last 37 years?
It's a yes and a no. He's advantaged because of the nature of what he holds, his office in particular, and one of the advantages is the brokenness caused by his dad. You know, when you have desperate young people, they will definitely come on board with hope. I am sure that big rally they had in the first one, no, Lebanon of Umbande, this where you were in the first where Chico comes from.
Was it Colonel
the Uganda Museum?
No,
in Sebei.
In Sebei.
Yes.
I looked at the whole pictorial thing, and I saw two things. I saw a bigger chunk of the desperate people looking on to he who has benefited from their sweat, and definitely wondering. You see, some people, just sometimes people come to say, it's like when someone dies and you are buried by big masses. Sometimes these masses have come to prove on whether also so and so can die. Yeah,
they're not there.
No. Some people are like, oh,
want to prove
so
that
this
he's
is
dead.
the one who has been robbing us for this long. Is that block of people? It is also possible that they come there. You remember what Mbabas, how big Mbabas' rally was? You know, Ugandans are amazing. It's an amazing population. Mbabas had, you remember Mbabas' rally?
He had the same.
But sometimes when you go onto those boxes to check, my dear, you're like, so whatever
it's
they
the
were
same
taking.
story as Chagulanyi. Chagulanyi said as Koboko. You remember the procession?
But those numbers, sometimes numbers lie. So sometimes people could have come there to like, oh, Muhoozi, so this is the president's son. Like, oh dear, this is the guy that has been a beneficiary for our taxes. So there are those numbers. I think there are those who simply come to say, okay, it's high time to also eat from the from what has been robbed from us. Because literally when you get free, someone who has been eating leaves, you have seen people, you know, where Muhoozi was, people have been feeding on leaves. So once they have an opportunity of also having a pilau and some bit of 2 chunks of beef, they will definitely come and fill numbers. Then the intellectuals like him, maybe they also have to prepare themselves and like, you know, you praise the semi-god, maybe to become RDC someday, maybe to become a state minister. So, I mean, people who come, they have different they have different hope, and perhaps maybe Oyite would tell the public what takes him there of all the opposition, because he claims he is in opposition. But I was telling him off record, like, okay, you're in opposition, but for you, opposing from the sitting room. Now for us, we are at the backyard, the small gate. So for him, he's opposing from the sitting room, opposing the father who is in the bedroom. So he can even run, you know, towards the dining table, picks some gati. You know, so he's not as bad as all of us decide.
But you've mentioned before that him and his father are the same. Is the same side of the coin.
Yeah, sure.
You still stand to
that?
Yeah,
sure. It's the same coin. You know, it's the same. You know, like if you have a coin, I don't know whether I have a coin with me here. If a coin of 200 shillings, Ugandan currency, the other side has a fish, the other side has a coat of arms, but the same coin. So if you show it to someone who isn't so much reasonable, you say, these are, I mean, you know, this coin is not the same. Yeah, because the moment you show, if you are able to simply cover the other side of the fish and show the coat of arm, you will have confused someone who is willing to be confused.
Okay.
And then you could use the same coin and then show it to another person, like, you know, this is another coin. It now has a fish inside, and you cover the coat of arm. So I think for me, the likes of Council Oyite and others, they are being showed the same coin and. But having the same figure.
All right. At just 3 minutes to the top of the hour, it's time we're going for a short commercial break. I'm going to be coming back with a few of your messages. I'm seeing them coming through right here. Keep sending them in. The pages are at the Alternative Uganda Facebook, at Digitalk TV on Facebook, at the Alternative UGA, that is on Twitter. We'll be able to find us. Drop in those comments, and when I come back, I have a few questions for Mr. Oyite, and of course we'll be having a conversation with Norman Tumuhimbise. So we still have plenty more coming your way. There is an SSF saga that is there. We also have Persis Namuganza, who has been, or who was already censured by Parliament. That was yesterday. Over 300 members of Parliament actually agreed to the censure motion of the State Minister for Housing. That and much more is what you should expect in this edition of the Mighty Drive. Shall we break now? We'll be right back.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704111720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings.
Fellow citizens, following the sequence of events, Uganda seems to be at political crossroads.
I'm not a servant of anybody.
Madam, I know the law.
As such, Alternative Digitalk brings you the Interface Show with retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besuje.
Let's keep on the same page on Alternative Digitalk,
As he gives you the alternatives on the transition question, rule of law, human rights and freedom, youth inclusion in governance, economic stagnation, as he confirms.
I'll be always here Saturday from 10 a.m. in the morning. Be there.
Don't miss the live discussion on the Alternative Uganda, Digitalk TV Facebook pages, and the Alternative Uganda YouTube channel.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. You're still watching at the Mighty Drive Show. My name is Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. It's exactly 9 a.m. Thank you so much. We are into the second hour, and of course, it's the last hour of the show. I still have two gentlemen in studios. One is Mr. Emmanuel Oyite, who is coordinator of the MK Army that is in the Lango sub-region, and of course, I have the national coordinator and a political activist from the Alternative Social Movement, that is Mr. Norman Tumuhimbise. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for the messages that you are sending in. I'll first read this particular message. That
maybe before we go into the messages.
Yeah, and I wanted to give you this message that you can.
I would love to first respond to. There are some few things that I think Norman, I need to clear because he was actually begging for the answer. Then I come for that.
Because these are also addressed to you.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll take all of them.
Okay, first take the one
yes,
for Norman.
Norman raises three good issues. I think his concern is, the biggest concern people have is the serving general is drawing the budget from the Ministry of Defense to aid his political ambition.
And that is just hypothetical. We don't know.
Yes, and now that's what I want to clear. Like the Sebe issue, if you were following it live as it was taking place, it was actually sponsored by the people of Sebe. I remember Fadil, the MP for Tinge County, contributed 30 million for that program to go on. Balam gave 30 million. Michael Mawanda, the MP for Igara East, contributed 30 million. And I know private people, like there's a gentleman called Kabanda, he's a youth. He contributed around 1 million. So many people contributed the money.
But all these are part of the MK Army, right?
Yes,
They're
yes.
even part
And
of
then,
that MK system. You have actually.
And then secondly, what I want to raise is the t-shirts. You see, this is a very, for us, I remember in our executive meeting, we agreed that we can't distribute free t-shirts like they used to give, like NRM does and other parties. That one it's like making the population lazy. They start seeing politicians as demigods. Let them contribute. That's why I can tell you that the t-shirt I'm wearing, I bought it with my money. Our t-shirts are for sale. Someone asked me in March in the, you man, I want the t-shirt. I said, if you have 10,000, I can connect you where we buy from. But our t-shirts are not for free because the moment we give you for free, you'll start taking it for granted. But the moment you buy, it means you are buying for a cause. And that's what has been lacking in our politics. Political parties those days had people who would subscribe to them. That's why you find DP and UPC still have people with even, they're in poverty, but they will tell you we shall die in our party. And that one breeds responsibility. And that's what we are trying to cultivate, that we can't give you, we don't want this kind of politics where you open your mouth and you expect a politician to feed it. No, you should contribute. That's when you can hold us accountable. And that's what happened in Mbale. We didn't have a budget. There was nothing, like every delegate transported himself. We had our election at Uganda Museum, Halia. Each delegate from Karamoja to Chigezi transported themselves with their money, even going back with their money. And that is showing that you love the cause. There's no money in it.
Okay.
You must show. And for us, that is the value we are trying to inculcate. And I'm telling you that the moment we succeed in that, that's when Dr. Bese talk about owning the country. You can't own the country when you are not giving it something. You can't. You see, during those days when, I remember when we didn't have UPE in my primary school, parents were paying school fees, you are the one to construct teacher's house. Parents were very strict. But now they have left the schools for the government. But otherwise, if we had continued with that spirit, with government contributing that little money, which is given in that, how do they call it? There's that money which government contribute. If parents were strict the way they used to before UPE, I can tell you our education would be fantastic. But now they left everything for government to teach the children, government to do this. And for me, that's what actually as MK, we must reverse it.
Okay.
So that one is out. There is no money. We are not drawing from the Ministry of Defense. Maybe you would say, maybe the crime we have is we are quoting a general who is still serving. But for us, we are saying that time will come when we shall tell Museveni, please retire him. We want him. And that's when you will start hearing this political conversation. And then, of course, my brother was also making another point. He's talking about that Muhoozi is just from Kisubi then to Sardust. That is not true. He's a graduate at Nottingham University in political science. Actually, by the way, he has published a book, and I think I should offer a copy for Naman to read. The first, that book look at the resistance struggle, actually the military angle of the war in the African perspective, because we have been studying a lot of the military science from the European countries, but this was an African perspective on the war. So you should check it. The gentleman is well educated. And then on the second thing, that there are people who want to gag him as the first son. For me, I want to tell you one thing. Professor Kanyihamba mentioned one thing. He said Mao and Olara Tunu can't be presidents now. And he said they were fantastic brains, they were fit to be, but because of their background, they are from the north. Now you see such kind of politics, it has kept us out for a very long time. That at first, the north, when Obote was leaving, there was this old propaganda so that Kokoro is now like a capital city, is very much developed. Yet Kokoro is one of the worst. Actually, Maria cases up to now is the highest in Uganda. And then that's when the 18th reason he targeted Kokoro, because he wanted people to be bitter, and then so that they can attack Kokoro at once. And the Langis paid the price, if you can remember. When Amin was leaving, the entire West Nile was given a bad name, and they just returned in 1996. So for me, I would say, if we are looking at Muhoozi, let's look at his personality.
Muhoozi as a northerner?
No, look, we must look at him, his personality.
As a person?
Yes, as a person. I don't want to look at a Nyankole in it. I don't need to look at a Westerner in it, or a Bantu, or the son of the president. But what does he bring on the table as Muhoozi Kainerugaba?
But what does he bring on the table?
Exactly.
I'm asking
what he has taken from the table is even much more than what he can even offer.
The question is,
he has already has taken a lot from the table. Vis-a-vis to what he can bring.
Those are political statements.
I want to tell you,
what
does he bring on the table?
Yeah, what does he offer?
What he brings on the table is simple.
Let me first finish my question.
Yes.
The gentleman you're trying to campaign for has not made any public appearance on any media station to talk about his aspirations. You're talking about books and you're talking about tweets. How do we read the personality of an individual who is just sitting at the comfort of his tablet and sending messages, some sensationalized, some you feel like they were uncalled for, but he cannot even come out to actually defend himself?
Now let me tell you one thing. Zaire was there in Sebei, and he was telling the people of Sebei that he grew up together with Muhoozi. For him, he loved good life. He chose to go to Dubai and to be at club governor, enjoying himself. Why? He's the brother to the president with all the privileges. Muhoozi had that privilege being a son of the president, but he chose to take another route. He went to the military. And I remember he was in Teso during the insurgency. He was in Congo. But I'm sure they have the money and all the privileges to just enjoy. He would have actually opted to enjoy, but he chose to sacrifice for his country. And for me, no, look at this. Zaire was talking about it. For him, he's not interested in the public life and the rest.
Yes.
But the other one chose to contribute. He chose to contribute, to go at the front line. To be because to be in the military, there's a risk. It's different from being in the club. This is a gentleman who went, some people were criticizing him that he went to Congo, he captured only the jerrycans. But at least he chose to do that. And for me, that is someone who can downplay, who can not look at the privilege. He should have stayed in the sitting room, as Norman was saying, and be eating his chocolate and the rest. But that is sacrifice. And for me, I want us to look at him basing on that, on his record in Special Force.
All right.
That when he was there commanding Special Forces, did he abandon it any day and he went to the club, or he absconded the duty, or what?
No, he was
those are the things we are talking
He was
about.
actually tweeting.
What did you expect of, you see, Edgar and Council Oyite?
Yes.
We need to go back. For some reason, we have to tap into our history. In particular, when it comes to African dictators. Most of the African dictators who happen to be militia, with the military background, like Museveni, Kagame, and others, they intentionally take the children into forces to protect their interests.
Consolidate.
As simple as that. And Oyite knows. The reason for which Kagame took Ivan Kagame in Sandhurst, you just saw him last week trending, protecting their son. The reason for which Museveni even had to first hide, from the public, that his son was joining the army. Remember, when he was asked in 1998, he said, no, Muhoozi, I'm not even sure of what he's mobilizing, but as far as I know, he's mobilizing LODU, you know? But the clique that he mobilized, the whole clique ended up in Sandhurst and Kasenyi, with one sole purpose, to protect his father. So once you say, I hear this man has been in Garamba, which Garamba? This guy has a first-class tent. When a war is here, Muhoozi will be around like Karamoja, hiding. You're making Norman to walk away with certain...
No, it's okay, you can debunk
Norman has just told you here, you ask him, he's a lawyer. If his child goes now to study and want to be a lawyer, what should we deduct from that?
Different.
Are you going to say that
you're confusing?
No.
You see, leave alone national matters to private matters.
For me,
I cannot ban my kid from studying law, but I wouldn't compel him to study law.
Exactly.
And I still
it works in your favor when it comes to its personal life. When it comes to Muhoozi, it's not personal life.
This is the point.
I do
not bar your colleague from joining active politics. My point of departure is a serving general in the army. We had in Zaire, Sade, a whole family. You get, so they want to plant their own, protect their interests. You have had Chairman MK is chairman of that thing, that project. They have
Mawanda. Mawanda is the chairperson.
But there is that other the brothers, the uncles.
Toyota.
There is Toyota. There is, you have had him talk of Shadrach in Zaire. Shadrach. All those, that's a clique that they move along with. Okay. So they literally, because they want to balance the whole thing, then they also handpick, hey, hi, we need this Eastern, we need this Langi, Oyite. They handpick them, to show a picture that they are of a national cause. When in actual sense, it's of a family cause, not a national cause.
Okay, let me first read the messages of people here. Let them join the conversation. I just told me it's past 9 a.m. I have Ethan Mine saying good morning. Good morning to you too, Mr. Ethan Mine, watching us from Turkey. He says, that makes Oyik, I think you wanted to say Oyite, dishonest, full, I think, language. that we're living in a confused world. Mr. Kato says, when Oyite Emmanuel talks about the youth following the procession of MK from the church and wanting to talk to the tweeting general, I feel he's not being honest to himself. It was shortly after that rally that we saw the poor youth cry for being abandoned and not transported back to their villages by the MK army, as they call themselves. What an irony and a joke. Were you offering money to these young people to come and process for you?
Everyone transported himself. That's why those ones who came with
they said they were abandoned.
Listen. I can't rely on that source, but we didn't see that because everyone who was there brought themselves. Now you can't unless those ones who brought themselves with the expectation that there will be transport refund. And for us, we are there to say sorry.
That's the picture you give them.
No, listen. For us, we are trying to tell them that this is a new dawn. That's why I was telling you that people are asking for
transport refund. Won't work.
No, it can't. What are you giving? That's why we are telling people who want free T-shirts that please give us. There were people crying, give us T-shirts. We said no, you will buy. Go to the vendors, buy the T-shirts, and the T-shirts are expensive. The little you can pay is 10K, 10,000. Even in Kampala here, the cap is 10,000. We are not distributing for free.
Okay. Moisige Joram says MK is a criminal, a serving army officer politicking.
It is not politicking. It is us who are politicking. Actually, by the way, we need a law.
You are an accomplice. We're saying that he's setting systems.
We need a comprehensive law.
You are now the national coordinator, the regional coordinator for Lango sub-region.
Exactly.
We are having a spokesperson, that is Andrew Mwenda. We are having Barambara Governor, he has his own positions. Kabanda is having his own position. You are politicking on behalf of him. You cannot politicking yet he's not.
And by the way, for me, if there is now criminality, we would confess that we have committed a crime for wanting him in future to be the president. That one we can let it be on record. That the crime we have committed as MK Army is to want him to be the president in future. But for us, and that's why that constitution should not be seen as something written on the tablet. Perhaps maybe it's time we need to amend. I don't know what was in the minds of those guys in the Constituency Assembly at that time. I don't know whether they were rocked by, because that same army sits in Parliament, so I don't know whether in Parliament they sit to fight, but there's politics in Parliament.
So you want to start on a note of also amending the Constitution?
No, like I'm looking at that.
To favor an individual?
No, not to favor. We are talking about the future in case he comes and be the president. When he has retired and contested after, because he definitely can't. Actually, if Museveni want to lock him, he will not even allow him to retire. And there he will be out of it. That's why for us, our cause is, we are also just begging. Dr. Besigye, when he was still inside in 1999, he already had supporters. When he wrote that dossier, the inside story, or the wrote in the NRA, he already had people supporting. And then he came out in 2001. That's when he came out. I remember Biraro also started showing his ambition when he was still inside. But we have our army sitting in Parliament, and it means politics is really not that. But for me, what I know is they don't talk about controversial issues. They don't.
That's where we're going. Norman,
Yes.
I want you to just give us the last message on that, because I want us to delve into passes Namuganza section.
Yeah, for me it is to ask the elites like Oyite and others to be honest to themselves once they go home and talk to themselves. You know, there is that time of self-reflection.
Solitude. You are alone. You cannot lie to anybody.
So I know Oyite, he's not as honest as he should, and he knows the truth at heart, and that the people he's trying to support and, you know, praise have caused a lot of atrocities in his region, you know, for that prolonged war.
You are still personalizing it.
You see, Oyite, I know Oyite than you know.
I know Oyite than you know him. You put a face
he knows the atrocities by NRA then and UPDF and also
but we also
LRA.
know the atrocities
and even UNLA.
Yeah,
very good.
Very good. Even the atrocities that were done by him.
And by the way, and this is
exactly, but by my people.
My honest message. Oyite is one of the young people I had thought that by God's grace at some point they would even contest for presidency in this country.
You are still attacking the person.
No, I am disappointed that Oyite has offered his head.
I know those.
But that has been Norman.
That's what I'm saying.
And Norman represents Ugandans who believe that Museveni, when they have a problem with Museveni, they look at Westerners.
No,
this is what we should debunk.
This is the
that
point.
Norman, by the way, Uhuru Kenyatta was a son to the president, and I remember when the gentleman was introduced in politics by Moi, everyone was so bitter.
Yeah, in 2002.
But it turned out to be the best for Kenya.
Yeah, but that was after 20 years.
Very good.
In fact,
After his father's
like,
departure.
yeah, I think 15 to 16
You can't compare those two
years, yes.
incidents. They are so different.
And the
But
difference is in that story that that Uhuru has gone through the ranks, the systems he has been. He has gone through the systems.
And the gentleman is where?
He is in
He's
the
not
army.
in the system. The army is not the system.
We've started
That's the
hearing-
system of governance in this country.
Edgar, my closing remarks in
in
regards
fact,
to
it's a
Oyite
system
and
of
his
governance, yes,
my remarks in regards to Oyite and his team is that one, convince your man to retire. He tests the wrath of being in opposition, but claiming and manipulating young people by opposing from the dining room and sitting room of the same house is just a delusion. You get? This is simple. It's in the same state house. One says, "Daddy," taps his shoulder, runs away. Then they're like, "My son," you know. That's what you want.
Yesterday, Parliament of Uganda, that is the August House, the house where the leaders that are voted by people actually sit. Yesterday it was full to capacity, ironically. I've not seen it full to capacity, and I think I last saw it, that was in 2017.
During
the
Kwejikwata,
yeah, and it came back, house was full, and over 300 members of parliament voted to censure Namuganza. I'm going to start with you, Norman. Is this what we sent these legislators to do? Is that enough? I don't know. In your perspective, is the parliament we are having today? In fact, let me rephrase it. How will the parliament of today be remembered, in your own perspective? This 11th parliament.
For me, it's to say definitely censuring any member, or cabinet minister, or anyone. It's part of the things they should do in the event that it calls for. However, on the other side, it is also to say, I was following the entire sequence of events yesterday, and to be honest, it's one of the days that my mental health wasn't as stable, because literally watching Ugandan parliament is one of the most depressing things or activities one can ever do. To begin with, you would want to begin with the entire saga from way back, from when they were campaigning for speakership. Yeah. And we had the rumors of envelopes exchanging here and there, that even the opposition couldn't get their own numbers to support their own.
Exactly.
You get
their own got 15 votes
out of all the members
out
they had.
Of the members
and
of
the same parliament, which is presumed to be educated, we even had invalid votes. Yeah. Then
you have also seen the series of was it the East African elections?
Sure. The entire
Yala elections. What went down?
So with this parliament, I wrote somewhere and said that the late, that is Right Honorable James Wapaka Bulo and Francis Ayume, wherever they are in their graves, I am sure that their souls shed tears if they can, looking at Anita with how she's managing parliament as a kindergarten, yeah, because what she points on to and directs that this be, it does happen. But also to say, for me, it's a big disadvantage to Anita among, power corrupts. One of the things that Mr. Museveni hates on earth is seeing someone, having exercising power. It's one of the things that annoy him. When he would hear junior officers praise General James Kazini, and those days I was a young kid in Bombo Army barracks, those days, I mean, you would hear from others like, this man, he does not like people who are liked, and who are loved, and who exercise power. And I can assure you, this censorship of Namuganza is going to be counterproductive to Anita. Because if you follow the sequence of events, Anita, when she contested for deputy speaker, she had 415 votes. Yeah, 415 votes. When she came for speakership, she had 401 votes. You get, so she has managed to manage her numbers and sustain them.
And they are big numbers.
When
that's like
when she was, of course, for me it is Anita who censured. This is my personal opinion. It's Anita who censured Namuganza. She had 356. Yeah, and you could see the energies of Parliament with her delegate, because once the speaker isn't there, who Taiba presided over, the energies they were spending on to convincing whoever was on on Zoom to vote, then you would wonder, of all of the problems that this country has, would that be, you know, a bigger thing to ensure that MPs are in the house as early as 9 a.m. So for me, Anita wants to show that she's one of those most untouchables in this country. And I'm here with you as colleagues and who belong to the same generation. Give her, you know, time. Like I always say, the time will differentiate between a tangerine and and bitter lemon. Give her time. She will leave that house crying like a dagger. You know when a dagger grew wings like for an eagle? Her boss go to the scissors and trim off the wings. I can assure you that they are sharpening the panga or the scissors to chop and trim Anita's wings.
But what is
and
the
by
root
God's
cause?
grace,
What is the root cause of that? I don't know, pomposity.
no, it's ego. It's ego. It's ego between. Personally, I know that Namuganza is indisciplined and it's on record. But there is when you must prove to the world that you are mature and you let go some things. Because if, for example, Namuganza's assertion are correct, that the Speaker of Parliament has been on the Namuganza's husband's neck in regards to her marriage.
She used the word procuring a fraudulent marriage.
Yes. I think for me, it is simply to say, you see in my language they say, that if you speak lies towards a person who has gone to the well, when they come back with a jerrycan full of water, then your lies do what? You know, they fade away. So if you know that your marriage is clean, I think you let it be. You don't have to prove a point and, you see my marriage, I mean, you let it be. And that is not the attack to Parliament. But also to add, in the event that the Prime Minister apologized on behalf of her junior, if Anita Among and Taiba were that mature, they perhaps should have let it be for purposes of this country, because we have lots of problems than spending and wasting our time. Now, yesterday was a waste for me. It was a waste from morning, and I'm sure Anita was in her home with her, looking at her, at how her Parliament is working on her direction.
I'll come to you, Mr. Oyite. When you look at the Parliament of today, Oyite, is this the Parliament that Ugandans signed up for? Is that Parliament you're really proud of? Just not looking at just the censure motion of Anita, looking generally from the time these young people have gone into this office. It's just only been 2 years. And it feels like there is a personal feuds, controversy in Parliament, Kavuyo. What has happened to the August House?
For me, I think Ugandans deserve that Parliament, because those Parliament, the members of Parliament you see are the representation of what has remained.
Exactly. No, I don't want no man is
we
laughing
can't castigate it as if we are.
But these are, like I was telling someone yesterday, that the legislators we have, out of a constituency of like 400,000 people, they decide we have taken this one. That means that is the best they can. Exactly. It's a symbol of who they are as a people.
Now, when you look at that, because for me, I went in one of the constituencies in my area, and I found this LC5 and the member of Parliament can't even express themselves. But then I look at who are the voters. So when I look at the voters, they were after the 500 shilling. So what such people, what do they deserve? Do they deserve better? No, that is what they deserve. So for me, that Parliament represents the interest of Ugandans, because at the moment we are trying to look at, even as MK, we believe that Parliament should be what? Trim. But I can tell you...
And you have the Kabanda.
An attempt.
So how is Kabanda different from...
Listen. An attempt to cut down that Parliament, it won't be easy, because I have seen how this constituency, the history of these constituencies in Uganda are out of controversial. It started with the creation of Kasese district. When Idi Amin granted Kasese district, there was a fight between the Bakonyus and the Batoros. So when they gave them their district, they settled down. I've seen in Bunyoro, everywhere, there's a debate about constituencies, and people demand for it. Actually, Museveni, he's like another politician, they say democracy is playing by the needs of the majority. Now, when the needs of the majority is stupid, unfortunately, you must go with it. Now, that is one of the weaknesses of democracy that we don't want to highlight, because majority of these people, whenever the president go, I have seen in my area, I was one time telling them that now, if we talk of trimming these constituencies, who will let his go? Which group will surrender? That is the talk of the elites in Kampala,
we have
of people like Norman and I, who want something better, but unfortunately, we're in the minority. Now look at the Namuganza's debate. People even have left the issues. The main issue that brought Namuganza into the
saga.
Yes, it's about the land, the Naguru land, the 142. And we are not discussing it. And it was confirmed that he dragged the name of the president to allocate it to some of these powerful mafias in town. But they dragged the name of the president.
No, but
she refused even to appear in front of the ad hoc committee.
In that particular issue, just for clarity of our viewers,
yes,
it was just Muganza who signed on the document giving out the land. But we all know where the decision was made, and that's what she has been standing on.
She should have refused.
That I am just a minister. How can I refuse?
No. She should have refused. Say, this will go, but I'm not going to be on record. What is the problem? Does it warrant? Because, by the way, when you're a minister, you are in charge.
Are you sure? In
yes.
this country, you are in charge.
No. But we have seen ministers who refused. Anita, I remember Anita fighting on the issue of UTL. There are certain things he said, this one can't go on. We have seen Biarugaba heading NSSF fighting with another group.
Where is Biarugaba?
But at least he took a stand.
Where is he?
No, he's
How
around.
many have the boldness of taking that stand?
That's what we want. That's the new. That's why I'm saying that Ugandans, we deserve what we have. Because if we are saying that how many, it means we are not even willing to stand, to take a stand on issues in the society. And for me, that is now the problem. Because Namuganza now, instead of fighting that and maybe saying, for me, I did this on behalf of this and this, why does he even need to bring personal issues of their marriages in parliament?
Maybe it was because...
But again, Ugandans... But since Ugandans love it, we even chose to allow that one to stream more in our mainstream media. That is actually now what is trending. We have left the issues.
Oyite and Edgar, you must also study the persona of Anita. She's one person that does not want any person to talk about her. It's not just now. It's not just about Namuganza. Go back to this Noop man. What's his name? No. There's Zake. Yeah. Now come recently to Senyonyi. You get? Because what justification does Anita have to bash Senyonyi? Okay, I know you want to raise your argument that Senyonyi has simply managed, I don't know how many committee, reports, just 5 organizations, agencies, government enterprises. But then, why don't you give him space to present just, even if he has achieved one, and then you say, fine, you have produced and achieved one, what about the rest?
I think that issue paper hijacked it. I remember the leader of opposition being a gentleman, Poga. Poga is another breed, actually. He accepted that there was a weakness and he called for a retreat. Because Anita Emmanuel was asking them, you people, there's a budget. And all these are funded. And Ugandans are not asking, that is our quality. The opposition group, those ones who are supposed to do oversight, are funded to check these 127 entities of government. And the Senyonyis chose to play by the camera. And yes, they look at the rot in the civil aviation. For me, even I'm one person who wanted to be discussed. And he was raising very stupid argument that Anita Emmanuel took time in the issue of Bank of Uganda when she was aiding Kosasi, because Anita Emmanuel also was in Kosasi. Emmanuel said that was special. It didn't arise out of...
But because, you know, Anita's Kosasi filed only 9 reports for that particular term.
This one filed 4.
In 1 year?
Yes, this one has 4 in 1 year. This one 4.
In 1 year, but this one 9 in a whole term.
No, it was not in 9 terms. The Auditor General's report is done every year. Because remember, at the time the financial year is ending, we look at the performance of these entities which are using our taxes. So it is every year. So the whole year this one had spent.
But who audits the speaker?
Who audits the speaker?
Yes.
It's the parliament. Those ones who elected her.
Which parliament?
Yes, those ones who elected her. So for me, that entire rot you see is about the society. Because Anita Emmanuel comes from a society called Bukedia, where she was elected. Even Norman has a society. Because the biggest problem now we have are the elites that, as Norman is talking about. Brilliant people like him will never go into the rigors of the
and also
constitution.
others like
They
you
don't.
support Muhoozi.
For me, I've taken a role.
That's the confusion we
That's
have.
why for me,
Me, the likes of me can't get power.
No.
The likes of you also support.
I'm supporting Muhoozi out of conviction, and for me, I believe that I need a platform where I can have a voice, and that's why right now I can tell you that parliament is useless. I can say it without any fear of favor, but as useless as it is, it represents the society. And that society is also not brilliant because you ask, there are people, there are MPs there, you ask how they manage to even win. I was in my area, I told you, I saw an MP. The person cannot even express it. I said about this one, what will he even do in the house? But he had the money, I think he has been speaking well in the burial places. And it seems that these electorates want those ones who speak well. In the burials and in the church.
So we should leave our parliament to be the way it is. Because
it reflects.
You can't change it.
It
now.
reflects the will of the people.
You can't change it now.
Only that you can only deal with the people down. That's why for us as MK, we chose to go down and say, you people, you are buying your t-shirts. Whether you cry for transport, if you came expecting transport, in any case, we shall not give. That's not us. You wait for Normans when they come and they will give you transport. That's what we are talking about.
I'll listen in from Norman. Norman, what do you have to comment on that, on the parliament? Should we just leave it like that and say, chikacha mama mera? Because just look at the sphere of things. Do you know, the more we go is the less quality of parliament we have. Is it even because of the numbers?
For some reason, you'll have to go back to the formation of the parliament itself. Majority of all those guys, apparently, if I'm not mistaken, they are all products of UPE. Majority of them. So where most of the legislators whose fees was about 3,000 shillings.
By then it was less.
You get, that's what you expect. You expect the likes of Kabanda, Serwanyi.
Still attacking.
Why can't you also mention singing?
No, you get.
There's a case.
I said that's parliament. I have said that parliament.
Very selective.
So majority of them are products of a failed system, which has of late been managed by now also Kataha and others, education system. So where a student is paid 3,000 shillings and by God's grace, he bangs this door and now finds themselves in that house, they thank God. You don't expect much. Two, they have their overall boss, the NRM, and the monetization of politics. You go make your money, buy Bogoya, Pirawo, people will vote you. Go deep down the grave and you know, you dig that grave, they'll say like, oh yeah, Wafe, that's our own, because he can jump into the grave and you know, he buries and takes marwa. You'll have them. Thirdly, again, monetization. You remember the saga of Doctor Who, this man, I even wrote him about in my book of Masaka Odwengo. When, you know, there had been rumors that Anita was giving out money, 20 million. This guy carries the money, brings it, he's roasted, he's roasted, and then he claims to you know, to apologize that he wasn't well, and it died there. Yeah, because if indeed it was true, that alone, I mean, it was a criminal matter, not even simply for Anita to say, I now forgive you. But those who know Anita and the team, they know how she plays her politics. Even when she is wrong, she will play around and definitely come back, and you will, the victim now comes there.
So if today, let's say, 50 members of parliament went against Anita, that means Anita will also will put them down. I don't know. If
as far as
is Anita, so you shouldn't really say something that is contrary to what Anita believes in.
So as long as you want to survive in that parliament, she's one woman. You should praise and call her mommy, call her all sorts of good names. Tell her, you know, you are another angel. If you want to survive in that house, if you do not, and you want to stand straight, I can assure you will have troubles. And it has been the way, because even when Kadaga was there, she had to be praised. You know, if you want some many trips abroad and you get your Kapadiem, you know, those favors.
$750 per day.
Yes, those favors. You must ensure that you do not.
Not favors. $750 a day.
So you must sweet talk her and you ensure that she's your friend. But to say that parliament, we can't change it now. Ugandans, congratulations, it's what you paid for. Those are the people you brought on board. Pay the price, wait for 2026. If there is another wave that will come on board, It will also sway you into that madness until maybe when God remembers this country. But as far as I see, the confusion continues to
Lastly, but
multiply.
Norman, I've had an analogy, and I think I've heard it from you before, that we have an individual at the helm who is the center of power. So when it trickles down, there is a development of many centers of power everywhere. Like, is this power that we have the one that is corrupting people to exercise it in a manner that is maybe not right?
There is what we call, they used to call it village urban excitement.
Or malo.
Yeah, you get
Malo.
malo. Then there is also when you have no power to power excitement. Yeah, you have no power, you haven't been escorted, you don't have a VVIP, counterterrorism escort. So once you get to them, you want, even when you're in a bar, you must ensure. Nani, you know those things.
That's what we call arrivalism.
I have arrived. So right from the
As a peasant, you have joined the middle class.
Yeah. You know, it's your first time to see a pizza, you grab it and now you show it to cameras and you want to throw it into everyone. So most of those parliamentarians, even the leadership in parliament, they have that arrivalism.
Actually, what Naman is talking about is trying to make our parliament to look like people from Israel, not Ugandans. We see the spirit, the consumerism culture, when it came in, it came from the West, whereby we started putting a lot of, we have tests for watches, we put on watches, ceased being for showing the time and the rest it was purely to show class. Even a late comer would want to have a very expensive watch, puts on but the late comer, you'll never respect him. So you look at how our people in the private sector behave when they have their money. You see in town here, people with the big cars, how they behave. This is not just parliament, this is us.
But for me,
it's the spirit of consumerism, whereby we want good things, and good things now project power.
For me, someone who has made their money, even if they choose to throw it in public, it's well. But this thief who earns from my taxes, yeah, we get, you get notification every now and again, URA. For me, that one, that at the end of the term, the last time I calculated, we spend close to 6 or so trillions per one term in office for that parliament. That money should do other things than having the likes of his friends. I mean, because even most of them are in the Muhoozi thing. Most of those parliamentarians. So there's nothing big, because you'll have the likes of Oyite also once they join the parliament. You never know. I don't know what happens once they hold that Bible as they swear. I don't know whether it brainwashes their minds.
Is it the money, Oyite, the money that you give these legislators? Is it too much that? Because we made our politics money-centered, those who don't have money cannot enter, and those who have money, even if they don't have brains, have the power to be in the august house and make decisions for you, who may be more knowledgeable, but you don't have the money to be there. Is this a money factor?
Yes, of course. When capitalism came, people never expected what it would amount to. That even education now, those with money. I remember that debate started from Britain, that when they wanted to scrap the scholarship in Makerere and the rest, the Britain would say the education is not a public good, it's a private good, that those with money should afford. And that such small things developed and became a cancer now, that it is those with money, even the villagers will want to see that one with the money, not Norman with an idea. No. So that is now the society. And probably we need to see how can we live alongside this money and we still have quality. For me, that is the very important debate that some of us in MK are discussing, that even with money and that excitement, but can we still be of quality? Because we won't change this very fast now. We won't change it. Because even you see at the university where people are all brilliant, still they elect a girl president who has given more money. And don't this thinking
you say
that
they are educated, not brilliant.
Yes. This thinking that that's only the NRM. I have seen opposition who are using a lot of money.
The money across.
When it comes
to money is a generation.
Otherwise, Kampala would be better managed, because Kampala has been in their hands. Actually, in the days of Sebana Kizito, that's when all the private space were bought, and very few people have. I don't know whether we don't have the knowledge to highlight that. But Balaba almost took even the city square, because this is the time when Oweno was taken, KCCA, the abattoir was privatized and everything. So, but we only look at government. But
Government is the one that
you look at the
prioritize-
wetlands.
that
The wetlands
prioritize.
in our areas are destroyed not by the government only. Even in districts managed by opposition is where the wetlands are being encroached on so much. So, and I've seen opposition being brought in government. When Amongi from UPC joined NRM, what happened? He was the first to take the house. You saw when he was appearing in front of the commission, the Bamagemerere. She took the house, and I think she was paying the rent at 500 and also renting it out at 33 million. So it shows you that tomorrow, even if we give Lukwago to be the Attorney General, I don't expect corruption to end.
You say even if Muhoozi also, why do you have to compare? Why do you have to...
That's why we must build. I know where Norman is.
Norman, I want
He's
to
a
comment
bitter man. Norman is
Norman, I
very
want
bitter.
to comment on,
but
the money issue so that we can also continue with the conversation.
No, for me, it's we have to train our children, because now we have wasted generations. We have generations that cannot change. I am sure even if you had an opportunity to get Museveni's mind and change it, it is rigged. His generation
cannot change now.
Yeah, they can't change. That generation cannot change. And also our generation has to be tuned. Now I don't know whether, but maybe after here I could talk to Oyite. Maybe he could change his mind. Yeah, so that our generation has to change. As in, we must begin with us. We are the change we're waiting for ourselves. Yeah, because for sure it's a pity. Like you know, for someone to say, but you know what, a calf is different from a cow. Like seriously, you know, it's just unacceptable. So Oyite seems to suggest that a calf is different from a cow.
But what if
forgetting that simply a calf
bull?
stands for just a young a young cow.
What if the bull and that cow? Are you trying to say
so Oyite seems to suggest that a calf is different from a cow, forgetting that if this calf continues to grow, it becomes a cow.
No man, do you think political parties are the way to go if the political spectrum is going to change, or the political parties have outlived their importance?
No, I think it goes back to individuals. If you have a stupid head, even if you lead the most democratic political party in the world, you definitely take your rotten brains into a good party. This is also to say that there are some good people in NRM. They are there who have intentionally considered, rather chosen to be interpreted as ill-reasonable, and there are also some very many bad people in opposition as well. So about the bad character and conduct, it doesn't matter where people belong. When if you it's like when they say Edisodio Mukulu, they used to say Edisodio Mukulu, Awadugale Walaba. Yeah, but sometimes you can also, you know, this you grow. So if someone is stupid at a young age, they grow with their stupidity. It doesn't.
So this can be wrong.
It can also be wrong. So you can also be in opposition and be bad, and someone can also be in NRM and be good. Now what matters is how do we.
But these political
harmonize.
parties are political caravans that are bringing people together with an aim of leading a country in an alternative way, or in a better way. So if they are also not having the power enough, that means you're not talking.
No, most of them have an ideologies that they don't even that the members don't even understand the ideologies of such political parties.
That is also right.
That's why I am sure. Anyway, you will say I'm attacking his persona. Most of the people that are supporting the MK thing might not even be aware of the ideology. His
even Ant.
No. It's different. It's different.
So some people might not understand.
Because
for example, Edgar and Oyite, Muhoozi, they call it Muhoozi project. But when you read about a project and a program, a project is short-lived. So theirs is short-lived, but it must be feeding into the Museveni program. So there is a program which oversees the project.
Your comment on political parties, the way to go. Do you look at becoming a political party soon? Go the NUP style, maybe have a wave of your own soon?
No, the NUP is not a political party. That was, maybe it's hybrid, we would say.
It's a political party.
It is hybrid because no delegates conference. Like I don't know my member in my district. I knew it as a because himself he was DP. But he realized that DP was not working. It should be, that activism no man knows. It is just an activist kind of agenda. But for me, I think also political party should be there and to the real meaning of it, like a real political party, because we have had two parties really. in this country. It was DP and UPC. They had their ideologies. You may say it was sectarian, but I knew that the Catholics, there was a way they would align themselves to DP, and then the Protestant would align, and that was really even a good cause, because the Protestant from Ankole was thinking in the same way like a Protestant in Karamoja. So, and for me, that is fairly, it was a better ground. But for us now, we think we need a political party that disciplined enough. But unfortunately, our people, still, those political parties will still reflect the people inside. If we are greedy, that's why people, you see now people nowadays are changing parties like nothing, because the greed. Yes. When you are defeated, you hear that I was defeated and Muntu left FDC. But why couldn't he stay there and reform it? You see the Dr. Messages jumping out of the NRM. Why didn't they reform it from inside? So that spirit is not there. But you hear that there are left-wingers and the right-wing in the political party, that this one is centrist. Can we have those? However much you can disagree with the main line of those ones who have captured the political party, like Secretary General and the President, but still keeping that party. I remember UPC had that. The Bingeras and the Kakonge. Kakonge was pulling on the left, Bingera was pulling on the right, and Obote was at the center, but they stayed there. But right now, whenever we are defeated, we leave.
Oh, are Ugandans tired of their country?
No, we are not tired. We are just...
they gave up.
We have not given up. We are there. Actually, this country, it's just, is well managed, because it's managed the way Ugandans want it to be managed. How do you look at the society that still look at the tribes? I remember when Obote committed a crime on my behalf, yet I was not there.
Yeah.
Mao was telling you he was in Luero, and people were telling him, but you killed our people. So such a society, really. Do you think they deserve better? Is what Naman is saying, that a calf should look like a...
But you also rejected Bobby Wine.
I didn't reject him basing on the tribe. Actually, I was telling people that Semogere won in northern Uganda in '96. It is the people in Buganda who didn't vote. The 2.6 million votes Bobby Wine Semogere got was from the north.
It wasn't first time Museveni swept the north.
Yes. But the
was it because the brother of the president was seated there during the time?
It's not that. We have been.
No, we all know that where Salim Saleh is the de facto.
We have been objective enough.
Power.
The Salim Salehs in '96, they were in northern Uganda. Actually, those people, the NRA, were busy in the barracks. They were all in the north. But we voted DP. Dr. Besige won in 2001 and 2006 in the north.
Yes.
But people saw that the direction they were taking was heading nowhere.
But when Chagulanyi comes, you reject him.
No, Chagulanyi was not rejected as such. It was him. Actually, Chagulanyi had bad handlers. People like Nambozis, really, couldn't sell him that side. That's why someone asked them a simple question that even we were supporting your own. If you're accusing Northerners of not supporting you, in 1996, Museveni told people in this area that Semogere will bring Obote. These people rejected Semogere, and people in the north voted him. So would you still say that those people never wanted them? I think we just don't need to. We need to look at personalities. Like Bobby, what does he bring on the table? For me, that is my interest.
He's of your generation.
Is what?
He's of your generation.
Yes, but what does he bring on that in the table of the generation?
But Muhoozi has not told us what.
For him, he has not taken anything. But the one he's supporting has taken everything from the table.
What has he taken? What has he taken?
That we also don't know about.
So this is a very important discussion that Ugandans should be having, whether in the taxi or where. But we need to move away from touching personality to their regions. We need to start looking at values. When I see Norman, I should look at him. What does he bring?
You see a person.
But I don't need to look at him with the other shades. No, but Norman, what do you bring on that table?
I want you guys, we've come to the end of this conversation. Mr. Norman Tumuhimbise, do you mind giving us your parting shot and we'll see where to go?
No, for me, it's to keep telling the elites to practice their honesty. And you know
but
that
who are these elites?
Him and others. There's so many. So that they
I don't find anything elite about them.
So that people know that for sure the country needs it needs a rescue, and you know it's in an ICU. Uganda is like a patient who's in an ICU, and who needs lots of care, but also to encourage citizens to speak up where there are injustices, and to discourage younger people not to be hoodwinked by these projects. because I'm sure one morning you'll even hear Natasha project, you might hear Saleh project.
No man's project.
You know those things. So we should have a Uganda project, but this personalized project. And hereafter, I'll try to convince Oyite and remind him of how brilliant he used to be and objective, so that he can perhaps desert the project thing. May God bless Uganda.
Thank you so much, Norman. It's always a pleasure having you on the show. Mr. Oyite Emmanuel, your parting shots.
Yes, for me, I just want to encourage Ugandans that we should be objective. Let's join political parties. I don't care whether you're not supporting MK or the rest, but we can be civil enough, because for me it is in those contradictions that new ideas are born. And for me, I would encourage everyone to be objective. Let us abandon this kind of short-sighted thing. Of course, as MK Army, I also still want to really support that. Norman, you're brilliant, you're fit to work with us, because we can reform the system. It is through that, because it's a vibrant movement, actually. I think it is capable now of taking charge, because we have the grassroots support. We are not just in town. We are considered, and we are looking at how to convert those crowds you saw in Sebe. You are saying they are hungry. Actually, it is because of that kind of that group that group leadership is there to provide solution to such people. We are there to really help them and uplift them from that situation, and that's why there's leadership.
Okay. So literally, you are calling upon you citizens to support the CAF. For the calf to correct the wrongs of the cow.
No, for me,
you know, it's
for me, I don't mind, because I know that that analogy can be used against me. That is a northerner is coming out to correct. Yeah, it's very dangerous. But if it is expanded, it has costed us.
I'm talking of a calf and a cow.
So for me,
so all this, so a cow gives birth to. And you think the calf will correct the wrongs of the mother?
I'm looking at MK and his values, and for me, that's why I'm there.
Okay.
I'm there, and by the moment he veers away from what I believe in, I don't think I'm a prisoner. I would leave. Okay. So for me, Ugandans should be very objective.
That were made in
Bali.
Bali.
Actually, this one we were on our way. Now that was from the church. We are heading to the.
And you
like what guys bought themselves?
Yeah, those t-shirts.
These are t-shirts.
And fuel.
These ones here, no, the fuel was theirs. Some of those t-shirts.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Oyite Emmanuel.
Intellectual dishonesty again.
Conversation. It's been a privilege having you two gentlemen here. Always an honor. Thank you so much for watching, the special viewers. It's been an awesome experience. Thank you so much for the messages and everything that you have done. Thank you so much for always tuning in every day. That is Monday to Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. We're always here breaking dawn, having a conversation with Uganda. Up next is Tekachi. That will be done by a gentleman called Kanso Kato Tumsime. He will be right here and we'll be talking about the law. Thank you so much. You can still follow us. That is on our social media platforms at The Alternative Uganda, on Facebook at The Alternative Uga, that is on Twitter at Digitalk TV, still on Facebook, on YouTube at The Alternative Uganda, at Digitalk TV. All these videos are always put there by our programs director and producer, Mr. Arnold Mukose Anthony. It's been a great experience having you, learning from the two gentlemen. Tomorrow it will be the Woman Crush Wednesday. We'll have the ladies doing the Mighty Drive. We'll have Farida Bukowet and Miss Lillian Luwede right here continuing with our goal. We say we are redefining the social media narrative and how content is consumed by people. We believe that we are going digital, and of course the world is also going digital. My name is Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. Please do follow me on Twitter at Edgar M. Karuhanga. You will see me. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow, same time, same station. Bye.
Magano hole ngot kumutambo ko kamani kuzinzala ndani bacherema une manga nakulu kwalata une matoka bakolela kutulaka une sai kwa pilo tunano kufumbi une nzala kana kutundano kumenya kona kola kulienda ta ba nakulwa tso bisasi ba nomku akulele batutukije bonaje muthu wale isikwambirano kwa mkuniroko ahusengo atahulizi une sikufunike ngabi nikyabanu F5 kamo tinewezirano Omanyama kuna yitwa kugenda ta ema kamene nango ko linus kana mutambo kwa kamani ngai nowe
baba kafune mutambo munji nabi kaba mai ni baba bakhosera mumu kana kuyenze she khulema kana kuyenze so kama kumumwima Rukana kwenzile njiri huko bosengo kuleyo kuzokubona kubana befe kulwa ingo wakumnyama kwa minyo kugena tana mena shoma hivi nyamibi
kama sinawe tete taitas bona musa kulusama aho kana isingi wakhorera ano imbali yakholizile mbali khuchisawa ebukeme wakhututukha wakhuleshila abo nakhandi khwachendile khwetsile khuliakho khukoti khwamukatsile khuli khukana omwene akhuchisuta khwengenda khukoboleyengo khwabona abone khwama mutikhinyi inzala yakhulile paka kumumu kwakhoshile khuli khubitambiso busa kama sina name tete taitasi name bututi
nomwakisyo elikone kutia Julius ndi mukhalafu nabi belo milimo chisi nomulebo wananga so ng'omundu mulangilisi shamele fanimbi sholesile shili ni bwami bwesi ukhutsoma sikutsa khukhwa lukosi bandu khwamileyo khwekupile lufumbi ela khwolilano uli waswalile bandu bakhupile beyanga babandu babamileyo nenga sikhwafunile lukosi ta Misela chino khwafunile German district tumami kamoti ekuba nichizanyala wakuleta ne uliso ningawe ngabe kwakufuna njeni ndikutsa nukulangile ku polisi ekube mbashi tufikikulelye nimbale so butia Julius sinami omwali
obuteya samu yabaga
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.